4 things you young men need to know to be a man. And this is something I never planned on talking about, just for some strange reason. I got a lot of requests to talk about it on my other channel. So I thought, I might as well. And I might be the perfect person to talk about it, because we'll just say it took me longer to grow up than most. And I know you young men, your attention spans are short. You'd much rather see this talked about by somebody in a skirt, but I'll keep it short. Number 1 thing you need to know right now is 90% of everything you're trying to figure out all comes down to your job as a man is to provide. See it? That's most of it, the majority right there. You want to be attractive to young women, be able to provide. Us men, we tend to look at physical attributes first, and then we tend to look at a woman's personality and values and all that second. Well, that's backwards. And women know that. They look at our ability to provide first, and then they look at physical attributes and so forth. Be able to provide. And I'm not saying women are gold diggers. That's not what I said there. All right, think about it. All those hormones and that attraction and all that stuff, that's to hopefully lead to a family one day. Well, your job as the man is to provide for the family. I mean, if she's pregnant, she's not providing. You got to be able to provide for her. That's 90% of all of it. And it's not easy. It's tough. Right, so you got to go develop some skills. Now, as a young man, you go out there and you can sell your labor. You can be a laborer. Just work hard. You can make money. As you get older, that's going to get old, though. Your body going to wear out. It don't last for so long. And then you're going to be out there a few years on you competing with those young guys that come along behind you. It's going to be tough. So you need to develop some skills. You need to develop a trade, a profession. You need to go into something where you got a future so that you can earn money, and it's not all about money. That's a big part of it. You got to be able to provide food, shelter, clothing, the necessities. The things your parents provided for you that almost none of us as kids appreciate. I mean, we just didn't as kids. I didn't. And luckily, I had a great example with my daddy. He worked all them years to provide for all us ungrateful kids. Just so he could get one day off, Father's Day, where we say, hey, we appreciate it. Here's your card. Now, I need something else. Men are there to provide us. That's what we do. Second thing, you got to have goals. You got to. There's an old saying I heard that just is about the best, truest statement I ever heard. Vision without work is a daydream. Work without vision is a nightmare. That's the absolute truth right there. If you've got a job that you absolutely hate, I mean, you're seriously working, you're working hard, and you have no vision for yourself in the future, you're not working towards something better, eventually you're going to get to the point that you just absolutely dread going to sleep at night, because you know you're going to wake up the next morning and have to go back to that job you hate. Seriously. You got to have vision. Right, opposite extreme. So many of us, when we're young, we've got all kinds of ideas and goals and that vision. We just don't put any work into it. Or as soon as we start to put a little bit of work into it, we realize it's work. And then we're done. You got to put into work. It's a grind achieving anything worth achieving. But here's the thing, and it's not about the goal. All right, well, so many of us think, okay, if we achieve whatever, we're going to be happy then, okay? And that can get you by in a tough job, knowing, okay, if I just get to this point, it's all going to get better. It ain't. It's when you've got a goal, and it is a good feeling accomplishment, But eventually you're going to get to the point where you realize this, it is the work that you enjoy. But it's always got to be working toward a goal. Right? So, and the sitting there playing video games, that ain't going to get you anywhere. I know there's somebody you heard about that, you know, they're making big bucks streaming, you know, games on YouTube. I make videos. I know what you're talking about. But here's the thing. I promise you they're putting in the work. I mean, seriously, they're putting in the work. And that goes back to what I was talking about when we were young. We all got, you know, ideas, got vision, so forth. But as soon as we start to put in that work, all right, we're done. That person that's making a lot of money streaming those games, it was a grind for them to get to where they are. All right, if you put in that, if you work that hard toward anything, you're probably going to be successful eventually. But it's going to take a long time to get there and a lot of work. And that's the thing. That's where you got to have that goal. You got to have that thing that is so worthwhile that even though you know it's going to be 5 years off, 6 years off, 7 years off before you get there, before you even get close to there, it's such a good goal that it's worth it. And that's where you're going to learn to love the work along the way, or you're going to give up. Number 3, values. You got to have it or you're never going to make it. And when I say values, what's important to you? I mean, seriously, and we're not born with values. That stuff we have to develop that along the way, and we have to put some thought into that because we do have to develop it. So every now and then we got to think about that. What are our values? What is important to us? And that's really gets important when you start putting in that work, because it's your values that keep you from trying to take shortcuts. There's watch media, movies, so forth. They make criminals look cool and mobsters and all that stuff. And well, criminals and a lot of you mobsters, most of you mobsters, they're making money by taking from other people. There's no future in that. You can make money taking from other people. You can. Stealing, there's money there to be made. You can be successful at it. Right up until you're not. And eventually, you're not going to be successful at it. And that's the thing. What gets criminals caught is they don't stop. Well, the reason they don't stop is because they never developed those skills to make money, to provide. They never developed the skills to do it legitimately. And then again, it is tough. Right? They take up crime. It's a shortcut. All of a sudden, they're making money. It's working. Right up till it doesn't. And they have to keep doing it. They have to keep committing those crimes to keep the money coming in. That's why we have to keep working to keep the money coming in, because our needs don't end. Well, we always need heat. We always need food, shelter. That doesn't end. All right, so the criminals, they have to keep committing crimes. They get caught. They go to jail, prison, whatever. All right, they get a little slap on the wrist this time. They get, released. Then they get caught the next time. Eventually, they're going to jail, mobsters, same way. All right, then what? All right, they get out of prison. They got a record now. That's just going to make it that much harder for them to go straight, to be able to provide legitimately. And taking from other people is not providing legitimately. That's being a parasite, not a man. All right, but once you go down that road, it's just that much harder to learn how to do it legitimately, to develop the skills you need to develop. Getting into a trade or a profession or whatever it is. All right, so that's where your values come in, and they keep you honest and they keep you from taking shortcuts. And I'm always amazed at all the people that, point to the honest people. Look at those suckers. They just fall for anything. They're honest. They work for what they got, and it's theirs, and it's going to be theirs. They're not taking the shortcut. And remember what I said earlier, it's about the work. They're putting in the work. They found a way to earn what they have. So, yeah, you got to have those values. And fourth, God. Yeah. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, that ain't necessary. And it's not necessary, but it sure does make life a lot easier. And getting into the values. All right, well, where do we get those values from? Where are we going to take the time to actually think about those values? Well, that's where church comes in. That's where reading the Bible comes in. That type thing. Church, and this is an important one right here. I remember as a young man, I didn't have any use for church because all I could think was, church doesn't do anything for me. I'm not getting anything out of that. Okay, well, that's how we think as kids. What am I going to get out of this? Once I started going to church, then I realized church isn't about you receiving something. Church is about you giving. That's all church is about. It's you giving to others. It's you working to help the church. You working to help others in the church. It's not about you getting anything. It's about you doing for others. And that's the big, huge misconception right there in this country as far as church and what church is about. And that's why church isn't doing nearly as well these days. Everybody's looking at, well, what can I get out of this? Okay, well, now let's take this full circle and go back to providing. You want to be successful. You want to make a lot of money, legitimately, honestly, in a sustainable way. The more people you can help, the more money you're going to make. That's how it works in a capitalist system. Look, Bill Gates, he's got a couple of dollars. How did he get it? He started a company that developed some software that was used by pretty much everybody. All right, so that software made life better for people. That's why they bought the software. That's why the computers that they bought came with it. It made their life better. He created a company that created a product that made people's lives better. And he helped millions of people. He made millions of dollars. That's what capitalism is. You come up with a product that's going to help people. And if you want to be successful, you got to approach it from that first. How do I help people? Not how do I get something. You learn that in church. You learn that mentality, that way of thinking in church. Is how do I help people? Not what's in this for me. All right, apply that to business then. Apply that to your trade, your profession, whatever it is. If you want to be successful at anything, it's how do I help people? You get that part down and you're going to be successful, and the more people you can help, the more successful you're going to be. It really is that simple. And we could have got a lot deeper into all of that, but that's the basics right there on how to be a man, a successful man. No, your job is to provide. Work on that. Learn to provide for yourself. Start washing your own clothes. Learn how to cook for yourself. Learn how to do for yourself and not be dependent on others. Get where you can provide for yourself, and eventually you'll be able to provide for others. Hey, that's a big part of it right there. Goals. Got to have them. They got to be important. That's what makes your work enjoyable. It really is a nightmare working but not having goals versus if you do have goals and that work's all of a sudden enjoyable because it's getting you to where you want to be. Values. You can't do it without values. Especially today. There's too many temptations, too many shortcuts. Those shortcuts, they don't work. They don't get you to any meaningful goals. You got to have those values. God. I know that sounds so corny to a lot of you now. Sounds ridiculous. God's on your side, you're unstoppable. Seriously. And if you know, have the relationship you should with the Lord, well, those other three things are going to come naturally. Okay, and then that gets back into learning to, it's about serving others, not what can I get from others, what can I do for others. All right, well, that's just a big positive feedback loop right there, and if you don't know what that is, go look it up. It's a good thing if it's going in a good direction, and if it's going in a bad direction, you're going to spiral out of control and you're going to crash and burn. That's life right there, pretty much. All right, so I really hope that helps some of y'all out, and God bless. Have a wonderful evening.